Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I mean, Fuego here.
Back with yet another review out of the 2019 Phoenix Film Festival and International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival. This one definitely featured in the latter, and not only that, but we'll get to why that's really cool in just a second. But we're going to start off and do this review like we always do, talk about our overall thoughts, then do we'll talk about the story, the acting, the effects, the cinematography, all that good stuff in turn. And so, starting off, my overall thoughts are I loved this movie. This was top 3 of the festival for me. I go back and forth whether I like this or I'll Take Your Dead better, quite frankly. But
Yeah.
but I loved this one. This one is just a really fun movie. It's a kid-based horror movie, which I really, really enjoy when they're done well. I mean, it's been a hot thing recently. So, Stranger Things is doing it. I mean, there's actually quite a few people that have done it. Summer of '84 did it as well.
Slightly older kids, but yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a thing going on right now, and this one does it very well. And I just liked everything about it, including the acting and the effects and everything. So we'll get into it all. But your overall thoughts?
Yeah, this one just made me happy, man. And it's a very simple premise, obviously. Kid thinks there's a monster in the basement, but they just gave such a fresh spin on it. The performances out of these young kids. I guess it was filmed in Detroit because we had that Q&A with the co-writer immediately afterwards and stuff. But great performances out of these youngsters. Cool creature design when we kind of got to it eventually, and I mean, even cool parents, man. I mean, It was like, I don't know, it just felt fresh, and I didn't see the director's previous film, Ajmal Zahir Ahmad. He's a filmmaker who did Jinn a few years ago, which was the Genie movie. I got Evil Genie movie. But yeah, this floored me. I went in with very little expectation, and it was one of the absolute best of the whole fest.
Absolutely. And well, I didn't go in with low expectations. This one I actually took the time and watched the trailer for ahead of time.
See, I hadn't watched the trailer.
Yeah, no, I kind of knew what was coming, but that's why I was excited for it as I was, and luckily it delivered on the promise of the trailer. So it does a great job. I mean, the movie's fantastic, and so the long and short of it is the story is that it's about a kid named Eli. Who has a best friend that he hangs out with. I don't remember his best friend's name.
I just really like boobies.
Yeah, well, delete your browser history. I know, I just really like boobs. But yeah, there's some great dialogue. But yeah, so this kid Eli is dealing with an issue where he feels that a creature called the Burgley monster that lives near the furnace in the down in the basement tries to come up and get his soul every night.
Hello, Grandpa.
But yeah, it's so he's dealing with that, and he tells his parents. He's told them numerous times. They of course don't believe him. He's got a real jerk of a 16-year-old sister.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not curse there, but yeah, she is a piece of work, and so he's dealing with this and trying to get through it with his best friend, who also kind of doesn't believe him, but they're best friends anyway. And so they're setting up different things. They show that they have this little drone robot that they're wheeling around, and they get into trouble with his sister with and stuff like that. So
that seems funny.
so it's really cute. Like, I really buy into these relationships, but I guess that might be more towards the acting or whatever. But so everything escalates, and the Burgley monster kind of gets closer and closer, and the movie progresses and progresses, and you don't really know if he's telling the truth or not telling the truth, but if it's actually what he's seeing is real or not. And so they toy with that a little bit, but it all comes to a head in the third act, and it's a great third act. And powerful, and they do a lot of really cool stuff with the film. Like at times he's trying to ward off what he thinks is the monster with flashlights and stuff, and so they'll do some like slow motion shots of him sliding into position and stuff like that. Like, it's really cool. It ends up being like a horror movie mixed with a Home Alone kind of thing.
Exactly.
And they did such a great job with it, and so yeah, I mean, there's a final confrontation at the end, and that's how the movie plays out.
It's a very satisfying conclusion.
Very satisfying. So overall, your thoughts on the story?
Story was, I mean, it's not like it's something we haven't seen before, you know, but it was in the execution, and I mean, really just the writing of the dialogue amongst the kids, and the little girl who kind of crushes on Eli a little bit. That was a cute little relationship as well, because she's one of the few who also kind of, you know, believes and subscribes, and kind of has a beat or two with this entity and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was writing believable kids and getting good performances out of them with the script that really set this above the many other times we've seen. Oh, this kid thinks there's a monster in his home, you know. So it was in that execution, which is really a good segue into the acting, because it's these kids really shouldering the film for the most part. I mean, we get a little bit of the parents, and the parents were good, like I said, but I mean, just the chemistry between Eli and his friend was just, it made me feel like a kid again. And that's what the best of this crop of, you know, newer stuff like Stranger Things or older stuff like Stand By Me does, is where it feels believable and it transports you back to your childhood and really just hits that nostalgia mark really well, you know?
Yeah. I agree with you on all those points. I mean, and yeah, they did so well with the script, and it's hard, you know. And did you mention? Forgive me, you said a few things there, but what the guy said afterwards in the Q&A about having a lot of takes.
I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah. So basically, what happened is during the Q&A at the end, someone asked, you know, how did you get such good performances out of the kids? And his response was a lot of takes. Yeah. A lot of takes.
That's right. Yeah.
Took a lot of takes to get what we needed, but
because they had both the co-writer and the director up there, if I recall correctly, right?
No, it was just the writer-producer.
Just the writer-producer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of funny.
We watched a lot of Q&As of this, man.
Yeah, we did. So they blend together a little bit, but yeah. It was just, they did a genuinely good job. I guess a lot of takes worked out because they got some really good performances captured the whole way through. I never felt brought out of it by any of them.
Not at all.
I specifically obviously liked the main two boys, and the friend was really funny too. You know,
he brought most of the laughter with his quips and silliness and stuff. Yeah.
Well, and I like there's a moment where they're down in the basement, and you know, Eli's telling him, you know, we should get out of here, and then the friend's like, I want to meet him, you know, and it's like, I want to meet the burgling monster. So it's you know, it's interesting to see how it progresses, and then the parents, like you said earlier, the parents are really good. The dad especially, I thought was great.
He brought genuine warmth and like care and compassion, and the sister was adequately, you know,
horrible.
Biatchy.
Oh my goodness.
Just picking left and right on the little young.
So yeah, the acting is tremendous.
Yeah,
I
good.
Absolutely loved it.
It's what elevated, as I said a moment ago, what could have been just a lot of beats we've seen before. It brought that genuine warmth and just heartfeltness to the proceedings with the great performances. So
indeed. Now let's talk about the cinematography. I thought it was really well done. I mean, it was gorgeous. Everything, all the shots were purposeful, and it does play sort of like a haunted house movie at times, and so there are those sensibilities. But it's just really entertaining, and yeah. So the cinematography is great. It didn't pull me out of it. It was very engaging, and it was slow to reveal some things at times, but you know, that was purposeful, and it was all tension building. Like they did a great job tension building with the camera angles even.
Yeah, and I just especially like the way they set up the shots with that weird little rolly car camera thingy going around. I mean, they were just structured in an engaging and almost whimsical manner, I guess, which brought that childlike, you know, nostalgia factor for me as well. So
yeah. So this was just excellent. The effects, though, we have to talk about the effects. Now, there's not really any gore to speak of because it's not like a movie that racks up dead bodies. It's him defending himself against this thing that's coming, and when all of it is said and done and there's the reveal of what's actually going on, there is an effects aspect, and it looks really cool.
Yeah,
it looks really
solid payoff, man.
It's a blending of different kind of effects, and it comes together super solidly, like you said. It's
very otherworldly, unique in its design, I would say. You know, despite like borrowing a few aspects from other things, it didn't necessarily look like anything that I'd seen.
It didn't
before.
feel derivative of anything, which is nice in today's day and age. So yeah, it just delivered, and like you said earlier, also it was super satisfying. I mean, that's what you really look for nowadays in movies, and especially horror movies. because they're not always going to be what you really want them to be, but as long as they're satisfying, then that's great. And this one,
sometimes they botch the landing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a great setup, good execution, and then if it just doesn't end in a manner in which you're just like, okay, now we're talking, and this one definitely did. So
yeah, so it's absolutely going to be worth your time. No idea when it's going to become available to you guys. Hopefully this year, as I said. But whenever you do get a chance to see it, put this down on your list. Write it down on the movies to look out for, because My Soul to Keep is absolutely going to be worth your time. When I can, I will buy a copy of it so I have one for myself, because I really enjoyed it that much.
Yes.
I told Fuego afterwards, and I don't know if this is a fair comparison entirely, but it gave me the same sort of vibes that Before I Wake gave me, the one that was released on Netflix. Yeah, Mike Flanagan's movie. So it's you know how quality he is after doing the Haunting of Hill House and everything. So this definitely felt like that level and had that sort of vibe. Movies around kid actors can be risky, but this one really pulled it off.
Well, and especially with the fact that you can only shoot X amount of hours a day with them, and all of these other things, which means how many extra days of all those takes did they have to go?
They did. Well, they did say it was scheduled to be a 20-day shoot, but it ended up being 30 days because of those issues and having to do so many takes. They had to push and film longer and stuff like that. But honestly, I feel like it's totally worth it for them. I mean, I didn't spend their money, so I don't know if to them they feel like it was yet, but once it gets its release, I know it will. So
yeah, this needs to get on a streaming service, and I mean, I feel like the word will spread about it and just how well it was done.
I agree.
Extremely well executed.
So yeah, I think that's going to do it for our review of My Soul to Keep, or MSTK, or MTSK.
Yeah, they're wearing the shirt.
MSTK.
Yeah.
It is MSTK because it throws me off, because it makes me think of Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's just missing the 3 before the K.
And also not to be confused with the Wes Craven movie, My Soul to
Soul to Take. Yeah, exactly.
This was 100 times better.
This was great. This was fantastic. So again, it's My Soul to Keep. Keep your eyes out for it. And thank you to Monty from the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival. Thank you to Jason from the Phoenix Film Festival. And thank you to Patrick from Allied for allowing us access to this.
Much love, y'all.
But until next time.
It made my soul happy.
Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, I've been Jaime and Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.